Hello and welcome to our Rotogrip Hustle Rip review. Before we get into it, this is my Patch Pirate signature jersey at CoolWick. Just type my name into the search bar if you'd like to get a replica and enter my code ROSEDOLL10 at checkout to save 10% off your order. I also have a link to Bowler's Mart to buy the Hustle Rip. I earn a 5% commission on all sales through the link, and there are other helpful links in the description as well, including my personal stats if you're interested. The Hustle Rip is a recolor of the Hustle Camo, so it's the Hustle core at a 253 RG and an 030 differential in 15 pounds, and the VTC solid cover that comes at the Reactagloss finish out of the box. I did of course reset the surface as always. I always recommend doing that no matter what the out-of-box finish is, because it helps it break the ball in and personalize it for your game. I went down to 1,000 with Jayhawk Bowling Supply's Diamond Dust pads on a resurfacing machine, and then finished with Storm Step 2 on a spinner to get it to a light polish. I went with 4x2 on the layout, remember just two numbers because the drill angle / PSA to PAP number doesn't matter on a symmetric ball. It's quite strong, but I do this on lower differential and weaker core balls so that I can take advantage of being able to use the layout to make the ball more continuous without also making it too strong or too early, like can happen with stronger balls with stronger cores. Also with the 030 diff, if you don't drill it strong enough, the ball won't flare enough to get much, if any, oil ring separation, which means it'll roll over the same oil track all the way down the lane and create excessive carry down. This layout gives me a strong continuous roller reaction, and as you can see, it's still pretty long and responsive due to the ball makeup. Matching up layouts with ball design to get the most beneficial reaction for you is definitely something you'll want to learn more about and pay a lot of attention to, but onto the review. I'm bowling on Kegel Chromium as usual. It's a challenge pattern at 42 feet and 25.5 mils at just under a 7-to-1 ratio, so just above medium length and volume. It keeps me more honest than a house shot, but isn't as punishing as a sport pattern. As I expected would be the case, you can tell it's just not quite enough ball for the fresh on this pattern. It hangs out well and would definitely be a great option for some transition and maybe the burn, or even if you just put some surface on it. I think for a higher rev rate and or lower speed it'll do just fine, and it looks great going 12 to 5-ish here. To answer the inevitable question of, well, why did you polish it if you didn't think it was going to be strong enough, or why wouldn't you just put some surface on it, so on and so forth, the short answer is consistency between reviews. By using the same surfaces and same conditions, you can see how each ball compares to one another better. If I was bowling for score, I wouldn't likely be starting with this ball, or would probably have some surface on it, but I'm reviewing the ball and trying to explain and illustrate where it fits and how it compares. It reminds me a lot of my Hustle ink. My inks are all long gone, so unfortunately I can't feature a comparison. I'm sure someone out there will, but there's a strong resemblance, and anyone that owned an ink will recognize that anyway. I will compare it to the Camo here in a minute though. It's rolly but clean and pretty responsive. It doesn't rev a ton on its own. Again, it's a weaker ball, so it does need friction to get it going. That's the whole point. But it manages to bridge the gap or do both exceptionally well. As is true with most of the solid Hustles, it's a perfect step down from the IQ Tour. A little weaker cover, a little higher RG, so if the IQ gets too early and slow, a little more length and pop with the same general shape or look out of the rip. Moving on, take a quick look at the Hustle Camo, and I'll catch you on the other side to compare them. This is of course new footage with my Camo, and it's my original Camo. It's still in great shape, still obviously rolls fantastic. I shot my second Lefty 300 with it, so for transparency's sake, it does have some use on it and is a touch weaker and smoother than it was out of the box. You can see the resemblance still. Obviously the rip's a little sharper, if not longer or stronger. They both are doing the same things from the same zones. I feel like the Camo revs a bit more on its own for whatever reason, and as a side note, I think you can see the value in getting some games on a ball. The rip looks sexier because it's a little more dynamic, but sometimes sexier doesn't knock the pins down. Most balls are more dynamic out of the box than they are at 50 games, but they're also usually more controllable and effective at 50 games, so keep that in mind. Generally, the results here are the same though. There's a few flat corners, that's to be expected given the ball design. Again, they're basically baby IQ tours. However, that means hitting the pocket a ton, and I think you can see that whenever early transition gets to the point that these are in play, or if you put surface on them to put them in play earlier, it's hard to find more bang for your buck, and considering how expensive balls are getting, being able to buy something like a Hustle and have it perform like it costs 50 bucks more is a big deal. I also got some new footage with my Hype Solid, and because it and the Rip share the same cover and have very minimal core differences, I wanted to show this comparison as well, so take a quick look and then we'll compare them. The Hype Solid is a single point lower on RG than the Rip. The lower the RG gets, the earlier the ball wants to react, and it's 6 points higher on differential, which makes the ball flare more, which creates more distance between the oil rings on the ball, which exposes more fresh cover to the lane on every rotation, which helps the ball get more traction and hook more. While there are definite similarities, I think you can also see how much earlier and just stronger overall the Hype Solid is. Small differences on paper can be pretty substantial in the lane, and while the Hype Solid isn't exactly a full step up from the Rip, there is an appreciable difference, and yet another big bang for your buck with really the entire Hyped line. With layout and surface differences, you could have a fairly diverse arsenal made of just hustles and hypes. Enjoy a quick look at the M&M as I close the video here. That review is also available if you'd like to check it out. It and the Rip are surprisingly different. Both new Hustles are available now. They're great complements to the USA. You really have a complete collection of shapes there with a little overlap, and they could realistically comprise a 3-ball league-killing setup. Remember, my code ROSEDOLL10 will save you 10% at checkout at CoolWick. Search my name if you're interested in the Patch Pirate replica jersey, and there's a link in the description to buy the Hustle Rip at Bowler's Mart. Thanks for watching, and may the strikes be with you.